Adaize grew up in the bustling, vibrant city of Lagos, where the streets hummed with energy and opportunity. The sun shone brightly over the sprawling markets, busy roads and high-rise buildings, casting a warm glow over the city. Yet, amid this lively environment, Adaize's life was anything but ordinary. Adaize was raised by her mother, Mama Ngozi, a woman renowned for her beauty and cunning. Tall and graceful, with sharp eyes that missed nothing, Mama Ngozi was a force to be reckoned with. Her charm was legendary, and her ability to manipulate situations to her advantage was unmatched. From a young age, Adaize was groomed by her mother to follow in her footsteps, to be both charming and cunning, to see the world as a place full of targets, waiting to be swindled. "Adaize, my dear," Mama Ngozi would often say, her voice as smooth as silk. "In this world, wealth is everything. Without it, you are nothing. We must do whatever it takes to secure our future." The setting of their home was modest but comfortably furnished, hidden away in a quieter part of Lagos. The walls were adorned with photographs and trinkets from a life Mama Ngozi had meticulously crafted. Each item had a story, each story a lesson for Adaize. As she grew older, Adaize learned to use her beauty and charm as tools of deception. Her first real test came when Mama Ngozi set her sights on Chief Okoro, a wealthy and kind-hearted businessman. Chief Okoro was known for his generosity, often helping those in need and investing in local businesses to boost the community. To Mama Ngozi, he was the perfect mark: rich, trusting, and unsuspecting. Mama Ngozi orchestrated a chance meeting between Adaize and Chief Okoro at a high-profile charity event. Adaize, dressed in an elegant gown that highlighted her natural beauty, played her part to perfection. She caught Chief Okoro's eye almost immediately, her shy smile and gentle demeanor captivating him. "Good evening, sir," she greeted him with a soft voice, her eyes casting downward in a display of modesty. Chief Okoro, taken by her grace and beauty, responded warmly, "Good evening, young lady, and what might your name be?" "Adaize," she replied, her smile widening just enough to show her perfectly white teeth. "It is an honor to meet you, Chief Okoro. I have heard so much about your generosity." Flattered and intrigued, Chief Okoro engaged Adaize in conversation, charmed by her innocence and intelligence. Over the next few weeks, they continued to meet, their relationship blossoming under the careful watch of Mama Ngozi, who ensured that every encounter brought them closer together. When Chief Okoro finally proposed marriage, Adaize accepted with feigned delight, while Mama Ngozi celebrated privately, her mind already calculating the fortune they would soon possess. The wedding was a grand affair, attended by dignitaries and celebrities, with lavish decorations and an opulent feast that left the guests in awe. Once married, Adaize moved into Chief Okoro's luxurious mansion. The house was a marvel, with vast gardens, expensive artwork, and rooms filled with exquisite furniture. To anyone looking from the outside, Adaize's life seemed perfect, but beneath the surface, a scheme was unfolding. Mama Ngozi visited frequently, under the guise of a loving mother concerned for her daughter's well-being. But in reality, she was orchestrating a complex plan to siphon Chief Okoro's wealth. She taught Adaize how to forge signatures, manipulate accounts, and subtly divert funds without arousing suspicion. "Remember, Adaize," Mama Ngozi would say during their secret meetings, "we must be careful. One wrong move, and everything will be lost." At first, Adaize felt a pang of guilt each time she carried out her mother's instructions. Chief Okoro was a kind man, genuinely caring for her and providing her with everything she could ever want. But Mama Ngozi's words always echoed in her mind, drowning out any feelings of remorse. As the months passed, Chief Okoro began to notice discrepancies in his finances. Subtle at first, they grew more significant, prompting him to look into the matter more closely. He trusted Adaize completely and couldn't fathom that his beloved wife could be involved in any wrongdoing. but the evidence was undeniable. Money was missing, and the only link was Adaeze. One evening, as they sat together in their opulent living room, Chief Okoro decided to confront Adaeze. His heart heavy, he gently took her hand and looked into her eyes. "Adaeze, my dear," he began softly, "there are some irregularities in our accounts. I need to understand what is happening." Adaeze's heart raced, but she maintained her composure, a skill honed through years of her mother's training. She feigned ignorance, expressing concern and confusion, but Chief Okoro's suspicions lingered. Despite his doubts, Chief Okoro couldn't bring himself to accuse Adaeze outright. He decided to hire an external auditor to investigate the discrepancies, hoping to find a logical explanation that didn't involve his wife. Meanwhile, Mama Ngozi sensed the growing tension and knew they had to act quickly. She intensified her efforts, instructing Adaeze to speed up the transfer of funds. Under immense pressure, Adaeze complied, her guilt overshadowed by fear of her mother's wrath. The auditor's investigation progressed, uncovering a trail of forged documents and fraudulent transactions. As the evidence mounted, Chief Okoro's heart broke, realizing that the woman he loved had betrayed him. Devastated and angry, he confronted Adaeze with the findings, demanding the truth. Cornered and unable to lie any longer, Adaeze broke down, confessing everything. She revealed her mother's role in the scheme and her own reluctant participation. Chief Okoro, though hurt and furious, saw the remorse in Adaeze's eyes and understood that she had been manipulated by her mother. Determined to bring Mama Ngozi to justice, Chief Okoro devised a plan to expose her. He gathered all the evidence and, with Adaeze's cooperation, approached the authorities. Mama Ngozi, always one step ahead, sensed the danger and went into hiding, leaving Adaeze to face the consequences of their actions. The once grand mansion felt empty and cold as Adaeze awaited the outcome of the investigation. Chief Okoro, despite his anger, couldn't bring himself to abandon her completely. He provided her with support and legal counsel, hoping that she might find a way to make amends for her actions. As the authorities closed in on Mama Ngozi, Adaeze reflected on her life, the choices she had made, and the path that lay ahead. She knew that redemption wouldn't come easily, but she was determined to break free from her mother's shadow and forge a new future, one built on honesty and integrity. After the fallout from swindling Chief Okoro, Adaeze and Mama Ngozi found themselves laying low for a while. Chief Okoro, heartbroken and ruined, left Lagos to seek peace and rebuild his life far from the memories of betrayal. The once grand mansion now stood empty, a silent witness to the treachery that had unfolded within its walls. Despite the risk, Mama Ngozi's appetite for wealth was insatiable. She was already planning their next move. Adaeze, however, was struggling with a heavy burden of guilt and regret. She had seen the pain in Chief Okoro's eyes, felt the weight of her deceit, and it haunted her. "Adaeze," Mama Ngozi said one evening as they sat in their modest apartment, "we can't dwell on the past. We need to focus on our next target." Adaeze looked at her mother, her heart heavy. "Mama, don't you feel even a little bit sorry for what we did to Chief Okoro? We destroyed his life." Mama Ngozi's eyes hardened. "Sentimentality is a weakness, Adaeze. We did what we had to do. Now, you need to put it behind you and prepare for the future." Adaeze nodded reluctantly, but the seed of doubt had been planted deep within her. She wanted to escape this life of deceit, but she didn't know how. Wealthy man, Chief Emeka, became the next target of Mama Ngozi's schemes. Chief Emeka was an influential oil magnate, known for his lavish lifestyle and business acumen. He was charismatic, with a reputation for throwing extravagant parties and supporting numerous charitable causes. Mama Ngozi, ever the strategist, saw Chief Emeka as the perfect opportunity to regain their lost wealth. She began crafting a plan to introduce Adaeze to him. She found out about an upcoming gala that Chief Emeka was hosting, a charity event that promised to be the highlight of the social calendar. "We'll make our move at Chief Emeka's gala," Mama Ngozi declared, her eyes gleaming with anticipation. "You will be the star of the night, Adaeze. We'll charm him, just like we did with Chief Okoro." Adaeze's heart sank at the thought. She didn't want to repeat the cycle of deception, but her mother's determination left her with little choice. The night of the gala arrived, and Adaeze found herself dressed in an exquisite gown, her beauty enhanced by the finest jewelry. Mama Ngozi had spared no expense to ensure Adaeze would captivate Chief Emeka's attention. As they entered the grand ballroom, Adaeze felt a mix of apprehension and resignation. The room was filled with Lagos's elite, the air buzzing with conversation and laughter. Crystal chandeliers cast a warm glow over the elegantly dressed guests. Adaeze's eyes scanned the room, finally landing on Chief Emeka, who stood surrounded by admirers, exuding an air of confidence and charm. Mama Ngozi nudged her. "Go, Adaeze. Remember, we need him." Taking a deep breath, Adaeze approached Chief Emeka, her steps light and graceful. As she drew near, he turned his gaze towards her, his eyes lighting up with interest. "Good evening, Chief Emeka," she greeted him with a soft smile. "My name is Adaeze." Chief Emeka's smile widened. "Good evening, Adaeze. It's a pleasure to meet you. You look absolutely stunning tonight." Adaeze felt a pang of guilt at the compliment, but she pushed it aside. "Thank you, Chief Emeka. This is a wonderful event. Your generosity is truly admirable." As the night progressed, Adaeze and Chief Emeka engaged in conversation, finding common ground in their love for art and philanthropy. Adaeze's charm and intelligence captivated him, just as Mama Ngozi had planned. By the end of the evening, Chief Emeka was completely enamored with her. In the days that followed, Chief Emeka and Adaeze spent more time together. He showered her with gifts and attention, and their relationship quickly blossomed. Adaeze, despite her reservations, found herself drawn to Chief Emeka's kindness and genuine nature. However, as their relationship deepened, Adaeze's internal conflict grew. She was torn between her loyalty to her mother and her own morals. She couldn't forget the pain she had caused Chief Okoro, and the thought of doing the same to Chief Emeka filled her with dread. One evening, as Adaeze and Chief Emeka strolled through a lush garden, he took her hand in his. "Adaeze, I feel so fortunate to have met you. You bring so much joy into my life." Adaeze forced a smile, her heart heavy with guilt. "Thank you, Emeka. You mean a lot to me, too." As they sat on a bench watching the sunset, Chief Emeka turned to her, his expression serious. "Adaeze, I know we've only known each other for a short time, but I feel a deep connection with you. I want to spend the rest of my life with you. Will you marry me?" Adaeze's heart skipped a beat. This was the moment Mama Ngozi had been waiting for, but for Adaeze, it felt like a trap. She hesitated, tears welling up in her eyes. "Emeka, I need some time to think," she replied, her voice trembling. Chief Emeka nodded, his eyes filled with understanding. "Take all the time you need, Adaeze. I want you to be sure." That night, Adaeze returned home, her mind in turmoil. Mama Ngozi was waiting for her, eager to hear about the proposal. "Did he ask you to marry him?" Mama Ngozi inquired, her eyes gleaming with anticipation. "Yes, he did," Adaeze replied, her voice barely above a whisper. Mama Ngozi's face lit up. "This is wonderful news, Adaeze. We need to start planning the wedding immediately." Adaeze's resolve finally broke. "Mama, I can't do this anymore. I can't deceive another man and ruin his life like we did with Chief Okoro." Mama Ngozi's expression darkened. "What are you saying, Adaeze? This is our chance to secure our future. You can't back out now." "But it's wrong, Mama," Adaeze cried, tears streaming down her face. "Chief Emeka is a good man. He doesn't deserve this." Mama Ngozi grabbed Adaizi's shoulders, her grip tight. Listen to me, Adaizi. We have come too far to stop now. You will marry Chief Emeka, and we will secure his wealth. This is our only option. Adaizi pulled away, her heart pounding. No, Mama, I won't do it. I won't destroy another person's life. Mama Ngozi's eyes narrowed, her voice cold. You have no choice, Adaizi. Without Chief Emeka, we have nothing. Do you want to go back to living in poverty? Adaizi shook her head, her resolve hardening. I'd rather live in poverty than continue living this lie. For the first time, Adaizi stood up to her mother, determined to break free from the cycle of deceit. She knew it wouldn't be easy, but she was willing to face the consequences of her actions. The struggle to break free. In the following days, Adaizi tried to distance herself from Chief Emeka, but his persistence and genuine affection made it difficult. He continued to express his love for her, unaware of the storm brewing within her heart. Mama Ngozi, sensing Adaizi's wavering resolve, intensified her efforts to manipulate her daughter. She constantly reminded Adaizi of their financial struggles, painting a bleak picture of their future without Chief Emeka's wealth. Adaizi, think about our future, Mama Ngozi would say, her voice dripping with urgency. Without Chief Emeka, we will lose everything. Do you want to see us living on the streets? Adaizi's heart ached with the weight of her mother's words, but she couldn't ignore the growing sense of guilt and moral conflict. She knew that continuing this charade would only lead to more pain and suffering. One evening, as Adaizi sat alone in her room, she received a call from Chief Emeka. His voice was warm and reassuring, a stark contrast to the turmoil she felt inside. Adaizi, I've been thinking about you, Chief Emeka said. I miss you. Can we meet tomorrow? I have something important to discuss. Adaizi hesitated, but she knew she couldn't avoid him forever. All right, Emeka, I'll meet you. The next day, they met at a quiet bar, away from the prying eyes of Lagos's elite. Chief Emeka's eyes lit up when he saw her, and Adaizi felt a pang of guilt for the pain she was about to cause. Adaizi, I know you're struggling with something, Chief Emeka began, his tone gentle. You can talk to me. I want to help you. Tears welled up in Adaizi's eyes. She knew she couldn't keep lying to him. Taking a deep breath, she began to speak. Emeka, there's something you need to know, she said, her voice trembling. My mother and we've been deceiving you. We targeted you for your wealth. It was all a scheme. Chief Emeka's expression shifted from confusion to shock, and then to pain. Adaizi, what are you saying? I'm so sorry, Emeka. Adaizi continued, her tears flowing freely. I never wanted to hurt you, but my mother, she forced me into this. I didn't know how to escape. Chief Emeka was silent for a moment, his eyes searching hers for the truth. Finally he spoke, his voice filled with a mix of hurt and understanding. Adaizi, I believe you. I can see the pain in your eyes, but this is a lot to take in. I need some time to process everything. Adaizi nodded, her heart heavy with remorse. I understand, Emeka. I just couldn't keep lying to you. You deserve the truth. As they parted ways, Adaizi felt a sense of relief mixed with dread. She had finally come clean, but the consequences of her actions loomed large. Mama Ngozi's desperation. When Adaizi returned home and told Mama Ngozi about her confession, her mother's reaction was swift and furious. You foolish girl, Mama Ngozi screamed, her eyes blazing with anger. Do you realize what you've done? You've ruined everything. Mama, I couldn't keep lying to him, Adaizi replied, her voice firm. I had to tell him the truth. Mama Ngozi's fury was palpable. Do you think the truth will set you free? You've destroyed our only chance of securing a future. Adaizi stood her ground, her resolve unwavering. I don't care, Mama. I won't be part of your schemes anymore. I'm done with this life of deceit. Mama Ngozi's eyes narrowed, her voice cold and menacing. You will regret this, Adaizi. You have no idea what you've unleashed. Adaeze knew that standing up to her mother would have serious repercussions, but she was prepared to face them. She was determined to break free from the cycle of deception and build a life based on honesty and integrity. Meanwhile, Chief Emeka grappled with the revelation of Adaeze's deceit. He felt a whirlwind of emotions, anger, betrayal, and a deep sense of loss. Yet he couldn't deny the genuine connection he had felt with Adaeze. Over the next few days, Chief Emeka conducted his investigation, uncovering the full extent of Mama Ngozi's schemes. He realized that Adaeze had been a pawn in her mother's game, manipulated and coerced into deceit. One evening, Chief Emeka called Adaeze, his voice calm but firm. "Adaeze, I need to see you. We need to talk." They met at a quiet park, away from the chaos of the city. As they walked along the serene path, Chief Emeka spoke. "Adaeze, I understand now that you were forced into this by your mother," he began. "I see the remorse in your eyes, and I believe you truly regret your actions, but trust needs to be rebuilt." Adaeze nodded, her eyes filled with gratitude and relief. "I understand, Emeka. I want to make amends. I want to be honest and rebuild our relationship if you'll give me the chance." Chief Emeka took her hand, his expression softening. "We'll take it one step at a time, Adaeze. But first, we need to deal with your mother. She can't continue to ruin lives." Together, they devised a plan to bring Mama Ngozi to justice. With Chief Emeka's influence and resources, they gathered evidence of her fraudulent activities and presented it to the authorities. The final confrontation with Mama Ngozi was intense. She was taken by surprise when the authorities arrived at their apartment, armed with a warrant for her arrest. Adaeze stood by, watching as her mother was handcuffed and led away. "You think you've won, Adaeze?" Mama Ngozi spat, her eyes filled with venom. "This isn't over. I will find a way to come back." Adaeze's heart ached, but she stood her ground. "No, Mama, it's over. You can't keep hurting people." As Mama Ngozi was taken away, Adaeze felt a mix of sadness and relief. She had finally broken free from her mother's control, but the cost had been high. She knew that rebuilding her life wouldn't be easy, but she was determined to do it right this time. With Chief Emeka's support, Adaeze began a new chapter in her life. She focused on making amends, volunteering at local charities, and helping those in need. Slowly, she rebuilt her trust in Chief Emeka, proving that she was committed to living a life of integrity. As the months passed, Adaeze and Chief Emeka grew closer, their bond strengthened by the trials they had faced. They supported each other through the challenges, finding solace and strength in their love. Mama Ngozi's trial was a highly publicized event, her schemes laid bare for all to see. She was sentenced to a lengthy prison term, and her reign of deceit was finally brought to an end. Adaeze, despite everything, visited her mother in prison, hoping to find some semblance of closure. "Mama," Adaeze said softly, "I hope you find it in your heart to change. We can't keep living in the past." Mama Ngozi's eyes softened, a flicker of regret passing through them. "Perhaps you're right, Adaeze. Perhaps it's time for me to face my demons." Adaeze left the prison with a sense of peace, knowing she had done all she could to mend the broken pieces of her life. She and Chief Emeka continued to build their future together, their love growing stronger with each passing day. With Mama Ngozi behind bars and the weight of deceit lifted from her shoulders, Adaeze embraced her new life. She and Chief Emeka got married in a small, intimate ceremony, surrounded by close friends and family. It was a simple but beautiful celebration of their love and resilience. Adaeze's journey had been long and arduous, filled with heartache and betrayal, but she had emerged stronger and wiser. She had learned the value of honesty, integrity, and true love. With Chief Emeka by her side, she looked forward to a future filled with hope and possibilities. As they stood together, watching the sunset over the city, Chief Emeka took Adaise's hand and smiled. "We've been through so much, Adaise, but I believe in us. Together, we can overcome anything." Adaise nodded, her heart filled with gratitude and love. "Yes, Emeka. Together, we can build a beautiful future." And so, hand in hand, they walked forward into a new beginning, leaving the shadows of the past behind and embracing the promise of a brighter tomorrow.